This is a great little cake that my grandmother taught me to make, and it uses an ingredient that you would not normally think is associated with cake, extra virgin olive oil. Now, extra virgin olive oil is normally used in salad dressings, but I use it all the time in cooking because it does hold a really high heat, and you can use it in just about everything, as I'm about to show you. Now, this is what I use in my cake, and this is a great idea if you're making a dairy-free cake and you're not wanting to use any butter. Extra virgin olive oil will give it a great flavour and no dairy, which is what I love. Now, the olive oil I'm using here is extra virgin olive oil, and it's going to have a flavour that goes all the way through it. Slightly bitter, but with the sugar and everything else that goes in here, it will make it delicious. Very common in Italian cooking. Now, 1 cup of extra virgin olive oil straight into the 3 cups of self-raising flour. And I did sift the flour, so it's going to be light and fluffy. I'll add a little bit of baking powder to that because I like lots of lift with my cakes. And then to sweeten it up, I'm using brown sugar. I love the caramel flavour that you get from brown sugar, so plenty of that goes in there, about 1/4 cup. Now, to add a little bit of flavour, I'm using some powdered ginger and cinnamon, about 1 teaspoon of each. And to bring it all together, some good old-fashioned Australian eggs, cracked already. In they go. Now, I love honey. It is one of my favourite sweeteners. Brown sugar and honey together give it an amazing flavour. So I've got 3/4 cup of honey. And a little tip, if you are making some cakes like this, warm the honey up a little bit so it pours out really, really easily. Now, once you've got everything into a bowl, I just mix it together with a spoon. Break up all the eggs, mix all the olive oil in here till I get a nice smooth batter. And once I've got that smooth batter, I pop my apples in here. And I'm using Granny Smith apples that I've peeled and cored, and I've cut them into little pieces so they go all the way through the cake. But they will keep a little bit of body and they will stay nice and firm. So the apple cake has lovely chunks of apple in there and that beautiful flavour of the olive oil. A couple of minutes of this and I'll get it going in the oven. I've got a beautiful smooth batter here, and it's always good to have a little taste of it. Fantastic, nice and sweet, and you really get that flavour and the smell of the olive oil. It's really important. Now it's time to pop it into a cake tin. You can see this cake tin is lined with Glad Bake all the way around it, and it's just a matter of grabbing a spatula, which is, to me, one of the handiest pieces of equipment you'll have in a kitchen. It means that you can scrape everything out of the bowl really, really easily. So there's nothing left behind and it all goes into the cake tin. Now grab those last little bits there, a couple little pieces, in they go. Now I'll just smooth that down so it's all spread around and it looks fantastic. It looks like a lovely caramel fudge ready to go. Now the apples, I like to put on top of it so that the apples soak all the way through and mix through the actual cake batter. And I'll grab them straight out like this and pop them on top. And you can see a little trick. If you want to prepare the apples beforehand, pop a little bit of lemon in the water and that will stop the apples from going brown. And you can sit them there for half an hour. They get a lovely flavour to them and they look fantastic. Now this is going to go into the oven. It'll take about 35 to 40 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. It'll puff up, rise up, the apples will go down through the middle of it, and this will be a fantastic cake. Icing sugar over the top. I love a bit of icing sugar. It just makes it nice and fluffy and delicious. Makes it look nice and pretty, almost makes it look Christmassy. Now, it's smelling really good. You can smell the olive oil in there, the apple in there as well. I've got a little bit of gelati to go with it, but before I do that, I'm gonna cut a piece out of it and pop it on a plate. Just cut it through the middle here like this. Ooh, cuts beautifully, lovely little crust there. I'll cut a little wedge from here. Now this is the perfect portion size for a little afternoon snack. Onto the plate it goes. Now I've got some lovely gelati here, just vanilla, nice and simple to go with the beautiful flavours that are in this cake already. And then some mint because we want to make it look pretty, and then because we can, a little bit more icing sugar over the top. That's a cracking little dessert, and I have to have a taste of it because I want to tell you how delicious it is. I always go for the pointy end. That's where it's nice and moist and delicious and soft. A little bit of apple on there. That's really good. Nice and delicious, soft and moist. The olive oil's through there, but it's not overpowering. It's just that little subtle taste. And the apple in there is beautiful. A little bit of gelati as well to wash it all down. What a cracking cake.